I think before I knew what an actor was, I think I felt like an actor because I remember like my earliest memories as a child were that if I walked into a room, I wanted people to look at me. And it was a kind of, performing. And then eventually, once I sort of knew what acting was, I had a very, very strong desire to be famous. And I was either going to do it as a rock star or as an actor. And I didn't really care that much because my first thing was that I just really wanted fame and money and girls. And, we simultaneously said that.
Were you a fan of Footloose?
I'd never seen Footloose. Honestly, when we met, it was hilarious. It was actually so funny because he said, well, of course, since Footloose and it was really funny. I love you so much. But it was funny because, I didn't know.
Dropping the F-bomb.
I knew Kevin from theater in New York. In fact, my mother, she would go to the theater a lot, and she would come home and say, that Kevin Bacon has done it again. That Kevin Bacon is such a great actor. It's really weird and strange that happened because she didn't say that about a lot of people.
Let's tell the truth about when we actually first met, though. I know you've probably heard this story before, but it's disgustingly cute. For Kyra's birthday, Christmas, Pat.
This is where it gets like Mr. and Mrs.
Kyra's mother, Pat, got her tickets to see a show that I was in down in the Village, and Kyra came with her brother. And in between the matinee and the evening show, I went to a deli to buy a sandwich. And her brother and her happened to be in there. And her brother said, there's that guy from the play. Go talk to him. And so a 12-year-old girl came up to me and said, I liked you in the play.
And then the hilarious thing is that, however many years later, when we met, I guess I was 21, I said, I met you once before. I came up to it at a deli. And I said, do you remember? And he goes, oh, yeah, I definitely remember.
When we were doing Tremors, it's such a silly thing, but I was kind of scared because I was bringing a child into the world and simultaneously battling underground worms.
Not easy to do, right?
Yeah. So, we were in this little house in this little town called Lone Pine, and in the middle of the night, she was 9 months pregnant. I was sleepwalking back then. I would pick her up in the middle of the night and try to carry her out of the house because we were being attacked by monsters. Wow. And she'd wake me up and go, hey, asshole.